Welcome, everybody, to another episode of On the Range podcast with Hogg Tactical and Kelley Defense. I am Mark Kelley, and as always, welcome, everybody, to another episode of On the Range podcast with Hogg Tactical and Kelley Defense. As always, I'm joined by my co-host and friend, Rick Hogg. How's it going, buddy?
Man, it is going great, especially since we've got these badass 70s hats with On the Range podcast logo. Boom. I mean, here's the thing, guys. If you're watching the video, check it out. Tell us what you think. If we need to add them to the swag store, let us know. But on that note, just want to thank the viewers, listeners out there for giving us your most precious commodity, your valuable time to tune in to us crazy lunatics and bring us into the top 2.5% of all podcasts globally. Let me repeat that, top 2.5%. Couldn't do it without you, so just appreciate it. Pass the word to your friends and family. And don't forget, if you're new listening to the show, hit that subscribe button, like, review, and I got to go check the I will get back to who left us the eggplants on Apple, but we will give him a shout out for that one because I thought you couldn't do it. At least that's what the guys on Working Dog Radio said, but I guess you can. So I don't care what you leave us something that bumps that algorithm and lets us know what's going on. Don't forget, guys, check it out. You like what you're hearing. You want to support the show. Patreon.com/On the Range podcast, early access to all of our podcasts, whether it's the On the Range podcast, whether it's Vantage Point, Hogg Words of Wisdom. And then, oh, by the way, don't forget, we will do, I think we're going to go with twice a month, a Zoom call with our patrons. We're working out some logistics because, man, we got guys all over the world. That's right. The On the Range podcast is global. We've got patrons global. So we're trying to accommodate all kind of crazy time zones. And we've got some strategies we're looking to work there. So I think that's all kind of the housekeeping from my end. Mark, what do you got on your end?
Yeah, man. No one's going to tell me that these hats are stupid, despite what Mama Kelley Defense says. Best looking hat that I've worn in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Classic. I mean, this is the classic trucker's hat. You know, I mean, you can't beat it. I probably had about 20 of these things when I was a kid.
Oh, God, yeah.
With who knows what crazy logos and everything else on there. So, yeah, man, just keep it real.
Yeah, you know what? You can't put this hat on without having a smile on your face. It's just not going to happen. And everybody that sees you in it is going to have a smile on their face.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable.
Well, it's probably that smile of a little bit of, where do I get mine?
Oh, yeah. So. Yeah. These two are not for sale, so don't even ask.
Nope.
But today's show, guys, is brought to you by Killcliff. So visit killcliff.com and check out their Cult Club. It's a rewards program. I am enjoying the Tactical Ignite, one of my favorite flavors, actually. I didn't really like it at first, but, man, I love it now. There's not a flavor I don't like, Rick. And they're fueling the American dream. They support the Navy SEAL Foundation. They have CBD products.
Yeah, man. And here's the thing with Killcliff, right? They just don't stand on their status quo of going, yep, we're good. Yeah. Always creating new stuff. You know, so if you think about it, you know, last year the old Flamin' Joe came out. Mm-hmm. You know, they got the Kiwi that came out. The
tequila Kiwi. That's awesome. Then they had that punch, the red, white, and blue punch, whatever they called that. That's unbelievable.
And then you got the cherry bomb. I think it is. I'm messing up my stuff. Terrible. You know, here's our good partners, and I can't even get their name straight. So I'm going to blame that on my TBI and silliness.
Well, they're pushing out new flavors all the time. It's hard to keep up with them, but they're all freaking delicious.
They are. And, you know, here's the thing. You're not putting poison into your system, i.e. that nasty sugar. So good, clean energy, good, clean caffeine. And yeah, man, that stuff will fire you up for your workout, recover you on the backside. And then, for those achy owies, don't forget that CBD to make it all feel good. So
yeah, unbelievable. And they They have a couple of specialty flavors in the CBD. It's great stuff, and we're happy to have them on board. And OTR15 is the promo code. Go in there and save yourself a boatload of cash. They'll send it right to your door. The shipping and the customer service is quick, and they're just great people, and they support a lot of the stuff we do. So glad to have them on board. So
Absolutely.
you know, we had we got this big race going on in Virginia. You're right next door, so I'm sure you hear about it. The gubernatorial election coming up. And a lot of that is based around that Loudoun County situation with the schools and the parents. So if you want to give the folks a little rundown on that, we'll start elaborating a little bit what we want to talk about today.
Here's really, if you're unaware, you want Rick's opinion, Loudoun County is an absolute disgrace to these United States of America, man. I mean, here it is. You've got this county that thinks they can do what they want, don't care about their students, don't care about their parents, don't care about the people in their community. And, oh, by the way, if I were the people of Loudoun County, I would sit there and take that whole school board commission and fire them all because, in essence, they work for the people. Long story short, Loudoun County, besides pushing all their crazy agendas on the students and then therefore telling the parents they've got no right to inject this rubbish that is being shoved down their kid's throat or indoctrinated or whatever, they let a rapist roll into the school they knew was a prior assaulter, and then another female student ends up getting raped in the girls' bathroom by a boy who had a dress on that was playing this I identify as whatever. Yeah, okay, he's figured this game out early. So Loudoun County basically turned a blind eye, let this girl be assaulted, don't care about the students, don't care about the parents. And yeah, it's pretty much the bedrock right now of this whole Virginia gubernatorial race. And there's got to be reform across the board because we as a country have absolutely lost our mind. If you think about this, our kids are the pillars of the next generation of society. And if you're not teaching them right and you're injecting this rubbish and garbage, critical race theory, all this other trash, you want to change history, check it out. You can't change history. History is history. Yeah. You don't sit there and change it because it wants to fit your narrative. Sorry, doesn't work that way. So long story short, that's a big, hot spot. And then in turn, you've got across the country, it is basically fueled the rest of fire as far as the parents go. And pretty much parents are disgusted with the education system. And here's the thing, I don't blame them. I'll kind of get into my story, how I got a little disgusted and how we opted to take our kids' education in our own hands. And honestly, I got it. We had the flexibility to do it, but I would tell you guys this. We can get into the whole homeschooling thing because I think it's the best thing going. If you've got the ability to homeschool your kids, do it. Yeah. Let me say that again. If you have the ability to homeschool your kids, do it. It was actually my wife that was pushing it. And then for me, my tipping point was when guns started coming into the school and the principal goes, it's complicated. In essence, she had a student there who wasn't really sure who the legal guardian was. And then, oh, by the way, nobody could tell me where he got this firearm from, because in the state of North Carolina, we've got the Storage to Protect Minors Act that if somebody gets a hold of, if a minor gets a hold of my firearm, I am responsible. And once again, we have these gun laws on the books we don't want to enforce. Then why put them on? Why put them on there? But that's kind of my rant and rave there. But again, I will say this. For me and my family, homeschooling was the best option. Now, did that mean we did all the work ourselves? Nope. We got our kids in co-ops, and it is a very good system if you can work it. I give you a prime example. We studied the Civil War, right? In the true history. We didn't try to change the text. We didn't try to, hey man, here is the deal. Piece of our U.S. history. And really to cap it, we're like, what a better thing than we're going to go take a field trip. And we went to Gettysburg. And let me tell you, man, it's one thing to read about it, but when you actually go there, when you stand on Little Round Top where Chamberlain and the 20th Maine basically kept the Union together, dude, it's a very powerful place. And I would tell all my fellow Americans, if you have not been to Gettysburg, take a trip out there. You will get a feeling there. Few places in the world have done that. That being one, Omaha Beach being another one, the Ardennes Forest. There's some places in this world that you still feel what's going on. So enough of me kind of ranting on that. But yeah, dude, we've got to. I've always said this. It's difficult to affect change at the higher level at some points. It all starts to me at the grassroots, and really, this is a pure grassroots issue. Understand, these school boards and everything else, they work for you. There's got to be policies in place to fire these people. So that's Rick's opinion.
Yeah. Well, the Loudoun County, many of you remember in that part of the state, there was the big issue about the critical race theory. That's how it all kind of started.
Yep.
And then this issue about the student with the alleged sexual assault had a prior, was relocated. Then there was another alleged assault by this individual, and the parents and the rest of the school district that information was kept or tried to keep private. And then they found out about it. Then it really blew up. Then the gubernatorial race started occurring throughout this, and the current governor, Terry McAuliffe, he flat out said in one of his debates that he is going to do everything he can to keep parents out of their children's education, that these are the educators' jobs and they need to stay out of it. Okay. That really exploded this race. And that's kind of where we're at. Now, the challenger, his name is Mr. Youngkin. Now, he has signs everywhere. It's a neck and neck race in a traditionally Democratic state. So that's the interest, is it's a neck and neck state. Now, who knows? But I can tell you right now, it's being broadcast as he's a Trump supporter and all this other things. The current president went to a rally, and the only thing, he must have said the name Trump 500 times. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And the funny thing is Trump hasn't been president for a while now. I mean, come on. This has nothing to do with Trump. This has almost everything to do with this current governor's stance on schools, really. It really has almost all of that to deal with Virginia. And it's a heated, and can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Someone telling you that you don't have the right, or you should not be involved in your child's education. Can you imagine that?
Well, kind of, sort of, I can, right? Because I was in that boat a little bit. It wasn't so much in their education, but although their education was crap, we moved to supposedly the quote unquote best school district in the county, and that turned out to be a joke. And then guns start coming in, and here's what we did: we took the bull by the horns. I said, "Sorry, dude. I can get on about all that crap, So you got a school resource officer that, is very large and not in charge. And I'm sitting there going, as I walked out of that principal's office, I pointed to him because we're a half mile from the school. And I'm like, hey, dude, don't have me come up here and finish something you can't. Because in my mind, my child's safety was in jeopardy because it's complicated, right? Yeah. And I would tell you this, guys. Yes, I'm a firm believer, values are laid at the house, education is laid at the house at an early age. However, you start getting into that indoct where they're hearing it over and over and over again. And they may or may not tell you, hey, here's what's up, because we see it all over, man. I think it's a total indoct of this generation across the board. It's like you're trying to pump some narrative in them versus giving them, some morals and some values, and sitting there going, hey, history is history. You can't change it. It is just out of control. And honestly, if I was in Loudoun County, and if I've got any viewers, listeners out there, I'd pull your kids out, man. Don't subject them to that garbage. Figure out what, Virginia requires to homeschool your kids. And trust me, there's homeschool groups, there's homeschool co-ops. It's not something you have to do on your own. There's a huge support network out there. Heck, man, you got questions, shoot me a note. I'll tell you everything I know. Or maybe I'll do, I might do a War Hog Words of Wisdom on homeschooling. I
think that's a great idea. Here's the thing, Rick and I, we wanted to kind of give a baseline of what this issue is going on in Virginia and why this race is so tight. And it's because of this. And I think it's a major part of it. I'm sure there's other issues. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But we also try to be the consummate optimist. It's a good thing to want to be involved in your child's education.
Mm-hmm.
Rick and his household took charge, and they decided to go that route. Now, I do believe that there is hope if you don't have the means, or you just don't have the ability to do it for whatever reason. These elections come along pretty quickly when you're talking about the Board of Education at the local level. They come around fairly quickly, so you can get involved, you can run, you can support someone that shares the same values as yours.
Yeah.
And I believe that the majority of the curriculum should be words, numbers, math, all that other stuff. Values comes from the home. And this is really what it's boiled down to. If they were truly teaching critical thinking like they say they are, and we have an example of what we're really talking about, it wouldn't take, and they were really pushing that curriculum, they would come up real quick at saying, hey, we're talking about stuff that occurred over 150 years ago. My grandparents' parents weren't even there. Critical thinking, they quickly eliminate that. So that's not really what it's about. This is about telling you what to think, not how to think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a problem. It's a problem. And we're going to show an example here. It's shocking. There's going to be people that want the best for your kids, but nobody's going to want more than you.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear this. So it's amazing. It's shocking if you haven't heard this or seen this.
It's appalling is what it is. And, especially for the viewers, listeners, get your barf bags ready, because this is just out of control.
Yeah. This is a CNN, and they're talking about the school debate. And this lady, Azra Namani, is the vice president of, I'm going to butcher this, but I believe it's the Parents Protecting Education, something along that matter. I'll put the link in the show notes.
It's the Virginia Parents Against Critical Race Theory Teaching in Schools.
Okay.
Yep.
She does a great job. She brings props and she brings examples. She has them tabbed out, and those that are watching the video, you'll be able to see this. But if you crank up your radio just a little bit, you'll be able to hear her. A great example of a parent that's well spoken and has a legitimate debate about this with this person, and it just goes south. And we'll kind of commentate a little bit here, but unbelievable.
These dangerous principles. And I fit into the intersectional world. I'm a Muslim, I'm an immigrant, I'm a mom of color, I am a single mom, but yet I deny all of these, privileges in the new paradigm of the oppression matrix, because we're all human beings. And that's what we need to teach our children. Of course, race is an important issue. Our racial history is important. But right now, critical race theory is bringing into our schools racism, bigotry, and separation, affinity circles, segregation. It's not okay, and it's not healthy for our kids.
Kazike, what do you say to that?
What I say is that, one of the big problems we have today, and we've learned this during the pandemic situation that we're in today, that we have too many people who know little or nothing about education.
Now, how in the hell does this guy know what these people know about education? What does he know about this lady here? Nothing.
So he knows as much as I do, right? So number one, she spoke intelligently, right? How do I know she doesn't have a PhD? How do I know she isn't already an educator herself? So for this dude just to whip out some crap basically out of his hip pocket and start smashing her, come on, man.
Well, the little chuckle at the beginning shows you that he didn't pay attention to one word that she was saying.
Nope.
Trying to tell professionals who are in this industry, who've been working hard. If anything, we've learned that their jobs are much harder than we think they are. And we're coming in as weekend warriors, trying to tell.
No, we're coming in as concerned parents. We're not coming in as weekend warriors. He's absolutely dehumanizing this lady.
Right, but here's what he's doing, right? In essence, he's chopping every single parent at the knees. Because really, where do you educate? Education comes from the parents, right? I'm laying the foundation for my kids. So now you're insulting me, dude, because don't tell me about these quote unquote educators, because I've been in the classroom, man, and it's embarrassing. And I'll even add a little more, right? They put out the wrong info. How do I know? Because my son's come home and told me, because we have been to historical places that they were trying to teach, and now he's trying to correct them, and they're basically telling him to shut up. It's like, come on. So,
And to be fair, I've never heard of this guy. And he may be having his heart and everything in the right place. Don't get me wrong. I don't know this guy.
No,
but I don't like the way he's, approaching this lady who's obviously got, even if you disagree with her, anybody in the world who has a child or knows someone who has a child has to understand where the concern may come from.
And then we'll address her shirt here in a minute, because that's an important statement she's making as well.
Yeah.
Tell them about what education should look like. And what I would say is that I think we need to put a little more trust in our educators. We need to put a little more trust in people who have actually researched this issue and who actually are better informed, because they've actually spent the time and energy necessary to really understand some of the nuances that are being kind of just blown over here in this conversation.
Spent the time and energy, what's in their entire lives in academia? That's your time and energy?
Okay, here's the right comparison, right? He's got zero props. She's got both the books. She's got them tabbed. She's got them all marked, right? So out of you two jokers, who's done the homework? Of course she has.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, his name is Kazik Prince. And like I said, I don't know this guy.
Nope.
It says he's from the Texas he's a parent in favor of critical race theory. Okay. And look, I'm not saying that there's not people that support it and don't support it. The big thing is what he's saying. We need to trust our teachers a little bit more. Okay, we'll leave that one alone, because I do think it is a tough job. He makes a good point there. It's not a hard job. It's an important job, and we want to have these teachers. We want them to have everything they need to do the job. So let's go forward.
But who's pushing the narrative? Is it the individual teacher, or is it that school system? That's the other part you got to look at too, bud.
Well, that's right. That's another piece of it. An individual can certainly push whatever they want, even if the school board was on the side of letting the parents engage in the curriculum.
And I think what's important to really be aware of is that having this conversation on race and racism is what this is really about. And what you oftentimes hear on the other side is this unwillingness to really call things out. What they used to say in the black church is, shame the devil and tell the truth. The truth is racism is real. It's having a real impact on our children. It's having an impact on the quality of life that people are experiencing. And where else is a better place to have the conversation around race and racism but in the classroom, to make sure that they're critical thinkers, that they're problem solving, they're innovators, so they're prepared for the world of work, so they can go out there and make a real difference in the world. And if basically the response is, well, let's not have this conversation, so we can keep them silent and quiet and not able and really make no real change.
Okay, I think that's very interesting, and see if you understand what I'm making sure I'm not sounding like an idiot here, Rick. Values come from the home. Math, language, the arts, history, that all comes, that is with the aid of school. Values come from the home. I need you to teach my child how to read, write, arithmetic, science, the hard sciences. I'm going to tell them how to act in the world through my values of talking with them and my example about treating everybody the same. I don't need a teacher telling me what my value should be.
No,
that's my decision.
Sure.
Unbelievable. You're right. It's brutal, man. This lady, and I know you wanted to say something about this lady's what she's wearing. Let me see if I can't push this up.
You can see it there. I mean, long story short, her shirt says, "I'm a mom, not a domestic terrorist," because again, if you want to say our current administration has titled both you and me and all the other parents out there in this great nation of ours as domestic terrorists, because we care about the next generation and giving them the proper values and bringing them up as great Americans. And we're a domestic terrorist for it. I'm like, listen here, Smoking Joe, last time I checked, you've never served on the battlefield. You have done absolutely nothing for your last 50 some odd years or whatever you've wasted of your life trying to serve this country, right? So how dare you tell those that have actually gone into harm's way, and even if you haven't, just being a parent in this country, that we're a domestic terrorist. I mean, come on, dude. You want to slap every single American, that has a child across the face? You just did. And to me, that is the ultimate insult, because, okay, you're basically telling me that I'm expressing my First Amendment right, freedom of speech, going, hey, I do not agree with what school board X is doing or what the federal government state, it doesn't matter. And you want to label me a domestic terrorist? Come on, man. Whose vision is skewed? So now we sit there and, we're like, why is all this stuff happening? Dude, it's from the top down. It's a total cesspool across the board. And, these people that we've supposedly voted in that are supposed to be working for their constituents could care less.
Yeah.
So you've got the parents sitting there taking the reins, and now you're getting things called like domestic terrorist. You're getting called, what do you know? I'm not saying, trust me, I have the utmost respect for teachers. I do.
Oh my God. Yeah.
They have a very difficult job.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to throw the however. When you, as a school board, school district, school whatever, start tweaking curriculums and injecting whatever your narrative is, because that's the whole part. You're not asking them to be critical thinkers, okay? But we're sitting there trying to push a narrative down people's throats, and then you get these other jokers going, it's the place to talk about it. Okay.
I'd love to have this guy on the show and have a calm discussion with him. I tell you what, when I saw this, I about fell out of my chair, because it's so telling, and it's sad. And the big issue with our take on this whole thing is that they're basically saying that we have no business, because we're not able to do it, to come up with a curriculum for our own child's education. We shouldn't be involved in that, because we just don't know what we're talking about.
But see, here's where I can sit there and tip my hat, which I will. By the way, we were teachers, actually still are, ran my own school. So, I can argue all this all day long, buddy.
Yeah.
Trust me. And that's the whole point. And I'm going to circle back to it, but I'm going to tell people, hey, here's the thing. Full pitch. If things do not go the way that you want them to, sit there and I got it. It's money out of your pocket, because yes, it does cost some money to homeschool your kids. Yeah. However, it'll be the best decision you do. And now they're not being subjected to all this rubbish. Mine was a safety concern, straight up. I'm sure that dad that sent his daughter to school that day, never expected in a million years his daughter would get raped in the bathroom by a prior, by a person that already had a prior. So it's like, come on, and what's going to happen, so you can look at it this way. I got it. You may not tweak the school board necessarily right now, but if you sit there and have empty seats, you kind of be like, hey man, see you later. And just let the homeschool network thrive. Honestly.
Well, buddy, we're going to keep an eye on it. This Virginia race is interesting. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm everybody knows that we are optimists, and we want to believe that everything's going to be okay. But I find it hard to believe that the incumbent is not going to win. I believe he is going to win. I think they're, the current supporters of this current governor are going to show up. I hope I'm wrong, but for the great Commonwealth of Virginia. But we'll see. We'll see, buddy.
Yeah, and really, here's the bottom line. Yes, it's for the Commonwealth, but it's really for the next generation.
Yeah.
It's let's get these guys straight. Let's not induct them with, crazy theories that somebody else thinks needs to be stuck in there. Because when you look at this whole indoctrination thing, for those of us that were around a little while ago, remember this place called the Soviet Union? It's classic communism, man.
Yeah.
Sitting there getting your indocs, and you will think the way we want you to think. And it's like, there technically is no critical thinking. So it's all lip service. But yeah, I mean, I'm totally optimistic, because here's the bottom line. We are the greatest country in the world. we are the greatest people as far as being Americans, and that is our one true bond. And we can come together during adversity, and I'm sure we'll overcome this one. But it's just pull together, stay strong, keep your faith, and it will all work out for the best.
Yeah, all this attention it's getting is a positive thing. And we're going to keep, I tell you what, we're going to put some stuff out. If anybody knows anybody that's going to be near any polls or anything like that and they want to go live with us, let us know. And we'll put some IG stuff out there. Like to see what the flavor is out there in Virginia and see how that's going. So,
yeah, man.
All right. Always a good one, buddy.
You know it, pal.
Yeah, man. Talk to everybody later. Be safe. And thanks again, Rick.
Absolutely. Thank you, my fellow Americans.
Yeah. All those guys out in, those folks out in Loudoun County, man, our hearts are with you. Keep it
Stay
going.
strong.
All right, buddy. See you later.
All right, man.